The story begins when the sky emitted tons of golden lightning at the same time, and it struck down El High City at. The Dragon Kingdom, countless monsters wormed their way into reality from the other world, causing humanity to face the biggest calamity that it has ever seen. Thankfully, the heavens never abandoned humanity. A mysterious mark suddenly appeared on the back of every human's hand, and through it they awoke a variety of unique occupational. From then on, the era of changing occupations to become hunters was kick-started for humanity. Amongst the many who became awakened, there were only 3 people with mythic rank classes, one of which is from the United States of America, a ghost blade user named Allard. From Russia, there's a hell dragon rider named Rasty, and lastly, the Frost Nation Frost Mage King Quan. Jishin, as the mythic ranked occupations far outclassed the rest, it led to the Lighthouse Kingdom Russian and the Frost Nation to overtake all other countries in their rate of progress on conquering other countries 100 years ago. A prodigy like them had once appeared in the Dragon Kingdom as well. Dragon Kingdom's top expert is named Ashura. Within a mere 10 years, he created the highest record ever found in China and became the first one to make it through the 70th world. However, when the strongest 9th rank monster wave invaded Earth, Aura, who was changed classes 8 times, died defending against the rift. He sacrificed himself to protect the kingdom. It was the 100th anniversary of Shu's death as a hero during the memorial ceremony launched in the capital city the day before yesterday. All the Dragon Kingdom's top hunters appeared to attend the ceremony, and at the same time statistics showed that the kingdom had 350,000 awakeners for that year, which is 11.3% more than last year, and the highest record since the other world had first descended upon Earth 10 years ago. 10% of awakeners are currently made up of core hunters, which has greatly surpassed the number of awakeners that had been awakened during Ashura's birth year. Because of that, they were hoping to witness another appearance of the next Aura. A man is lying down in his bare room while listening to news that the main gate to the other world is about to open. Hunters were advised to prepare themselves. The man looked lifeless with a bottle of pills beside him. Again, the news was repeated, but when the man heard that hunters are asked to prepare themselves, the man looked horrified. All of a sudden, he sat up. It was like he's a different person now. This man looked around to figure out where he was because he thought he'd die. His head hurt so much. Then he started seeing fragments of painful memories, like working a difficult job, being told that he's a trash, not being able to pay his brother's medical fees, complaining being a monster tamer in a poor family, and with all of these piling up, he decided to end his life by overdosing on pills. The confused man wondered whose memories are those. He never imagined that he would be reincarnated into the body of someone with the exact same name as him. 100 years later, he recalled that the man was a monster tamer. The monster tamer class mainly relies on their pets to fight. Other than raising their own level, their pet's growth attribute can't fall behind. Either someone had once analyzed that in order to nurture a powerful monster tamer, one would need to be at least as wealthy as an entire nation. To an ordinary person, awakening as a monster tamer would indeed be bad news. Now he knew the story of the good Forno young Zhang Yu, who failed at life and took his own life. He looked at the picture on the wall. This reincarnated person was the opposite of that. He was once the strongest awakener in the whole Dragon Kingdom and was well known with the name Ashura. Since he had already taken over the body and had been revived once again, he decided to bear all the man's responsibilities and regrets and conquer the other world where the weak are at the mercy of the strongest. It's his gesture of showing his gratitude. There was an announcement again that the main gate to the other world is about to open. The man stood before the gate, and then he opened it. A bright ring of light appeared. It was the spatial gate. He entered it. The system greeted Aura and reported that he had been offline for 3,652 days. He stood there while several window screens opened. He had received ability power points of 221,664. 96,000. The system congratulated him on being the first to defeat a 9th rank monster wave. He had completed the mythic rank achievement in a class of his own. For that, he had obtained a reward, which is a mythic rank treasure. Supreme Divine Decree. The Supreme Divine Decree will be activated automatically. He also obtained a permanent buff, which is a 10,000-fold increase in earning ability power in the other world whilst both online and Offline, the effect has been applied to him, and he has obtained an additional 99x offline rewards, which totals to 210,43893,53,000 ability points. He was surprised to see quadrillions of ability power. It was a generous reward for clearing the highest ranked monster wave. In the world, the system notified him that he also had obtained a class reset. He was asked to choose from one of the 7 mythic rank core classes. The choices are Knight, Undead, Death Knight, Warrior, Dark Swordsman, Assassin, Shadow, Reaper, Priest Divine, Priest Mage, Hellfire Mage, Archer, Spectral Hunter, Monster Tamer. Necromancer Ashura awoke as an epic class warrior 100 years ago, but the strongest core class in the other world during that time was actually the Monster Tamers. The only issue with that occupation is the astronomical amount of ability power needed for them to level up themselves and their pets, causing growth for that class to be immensely difficult. However, since he had been reincarnated and even have 1,000,000 years worth of offline ability power, his top choice is naturally the Necromancer. The system congratulated him on becoming the other world's 4th mythic ranked core hunter necromancer. Monster Tamer's advanced class, he received an initial 100-star rating. It was strong as expected of a mythic rank class, and Necromancer is a messenger revived from the underworld. A Necromancer has command over the strength of the dead. Only death is able to excite a Necromancer. A Necromancer has a magic attack growth, 25-star mana growth, 18-star vitality growth, 20-star physical defense growth, 18-star, and magic defense growth, 19-star. It has skills like Harvest Souls, Spectre, Evolution, and Death Reduction. An ordinary Monster Tamer pet's intellect is obtained through rare mission rewards, and it's impossible to improve there. Character Ashura didn't expect a Necromancer to not only evolve their pets, but also be able to harvest other monsters and make them their pets as expected of a mythical rank class. In his previous life, he relied on an epic rank class to clear 70 worlds within merely 10 years and became the top ranker in China. Since he's starting out with a mythical rank class in that life, he decided to perfectly clear every last world and become the strongest not just in China, but the entire world. The sun Rose Azura entered a portal and was welcomed in the first world of the other world, the source of nightmares. The safe zone has been matched by the system according to his log, and location is Doomsday Village. He was asked if he will be continuing to use the ID of Sura, or if not, he must confirm his new ID. He decided to change his ID to 0. He made it sure that in his new life, he's destined to surpass Aura's existence, and the only thing that surpasses all else is 0. He walked around the other world. A woman was fascinated by how close it is to being in the real world. Another man was confused as well, because they expected the other world to be filled with monsters. A man replied that they are in the safe zone, and the monsters are outside of that. They were notified that the first world's mission had been released. It was in the mission panel. People started preparing for it, like finding a party to join or the materials that they would need. The system window displayed details about the source of nightmares' first world. When darkness shrouded the earth, the monsters who were in a deep slumber underneath awake, and the world will eventually ruin into a calamity. As the sole survivor, the 0 must break the doomsday pattern, break the multiple calamities, and crush the darkness. The first mission is to kill a total of 1,000 monsters in the first world. Second, he must collect a total of 10 silver coins by killing monsters or carrying out missions. When he has completed the above missions, he can activate the first world's boss instant teleportation tunnel, defeat the boss, and advance to the second world. 0 noticed that the normal layout of the other world didn't change much. He decided to buy some equipment first before doing the missions. He was welcomed in a shop. The equipment shop owner is Chelsea. He asked him what he needed. 0 also noticed that the system's equipment shop is also the same as before. It can only provide some basic crude items. Even the best equipment they have is only 1 star. Chelsea told 0 that if he isn't satisfied with those, he can provide a higher graded equipment for a few more copper coins. 0 dropped a bag filled with 100 copper coins. Then he asked for a star magic staff. The other buyers around him were astonished. 0 received the staff. After that, people flocked to 0. They were all surprised with his move, since they were only given a total of 100 copper coins, and he had spent all of them. One person added that 1-star magic stuff can add much attack power. Either he was advised that instead of buying a single 1-star weapon, he would be better off buying a full set of crude Item 0 thanked them for their advice, and walked away. A woman expressed her opinion that although only the weapons with a higher number of stars can be refined, the attack power would also be increased. The man replied that refining weapons require ability power, and they can only be obtained through missions to farm monsters with a low drop rate. He added that there isn't even enough of such valuable things to level up. Only a brain-dead person would do that. They continued to gossip while watching Zero walk away. He judged him to suffer later on, since he doesn't have money left and had no Zero defensive power. They all thought that it's impossible to do anything without money. To the normal newbie hunter, it is indeed not worth it to spend all money on own near equipment. The ability power obtained by normal hunters from farming monsters is very limited, so it just wouldn't be possible for them to afford to refine Onir equipment. Zero's weapon is called Raging Inferno Magic Staff with Onir. Its magic power is 5, and its level is 0. Zero is aware that he's lacking one thing, and that's the ability's power. When he spends 1 point of ability power on refining, he has a 10% chance of increasing his green attribute. The higher the attribute, the greater the cost of refinement, and the lower the chances of success. He was asked if he wanted to refine. He replied yes. He was prompted again, and he continuously replied to keep refining. His staff glowed. As the refinement continued to be successful, he watched the notifications. And later on, he was informed that his equipment has already been upgraded to the highest tier. The system screen showed him that after 132 single-touch refinements, with a total of 985 ability power points spent, he had obtained the gold attribute. Now, his weapon is Scorching Pioneer Magic Staff. Refining 132 points showed the true power of having quadrillions of ability power points. His staff has the characteristic called Scorch, wherein every time the user attacks, it will inflict the enemy with a 3C burn status. The enemy will lose 20 health per second with add-ons. Preparations are complete. It's time for him to put on a good show at the first world. The origin of nightmares. It was the beginning of the nightmares of all the novice hunters. A hunter slashed a world with his sword, but it had no effect. The hunter was scared. It made him wonder, what is the rank of that ___ monster? It had so much health that it's impossible to deal any significant damage, yet one strike from it will kill them. Suddenly, a gold orb of light appeared. It was magic that eliminated that monster. The burn effect from Scorching Pioneer Magic Staff has been inflicted. Zero watched the corpse of the monster. The system informed him that he had defeated that mutated giant rat, which earned him 2 EXP and 1,000 points. 10,000-fold increase in ability points buff applied. Zero is a mythic hunter with maxed out base attribute buff, as well as max level equipment. Ordinary hunters need to team up to kill the mutated giant rat, yet I can kill one with a single shot. Other hunters noticed him. They were all curious about him since he dealt insane damage, and he is all the good equipment. One woman wondered if he's an experienced hunter, but the guy refutes that there's no way someone would have so many ability points to refine an early-game newbie magic staff. They couldn't help but think of Zero as a big shot. Zero was thinking that since those level 1 monsters give him too little experience, he needed to kill monsters that are on a higher level than him to maximize his experience gain in the first world. The origin of nightmares. Other than low-ranked mutated giant rats, there's also level 3 to 4 poisonous spiders, level 5 to S armored scorpions, and level 8 to 9 frenzied wild boars. Lastly, the final boss of the first world, a level 10 berserk wild boar king. Now his best option is to hunt the level 3 and above monsters at the abandoned factory. He was about to walk away, but he was blocked by those hunters. They wanted to recruit him in their party by enticing him that they have healer tank DPS. The women tempted him with their body too, but Zero was scared when he replied that he didn't need it, so they just backed off. They watched him walk away. Then they talked about his scary aura that's even worse than those monsters. They noticed that Zero was heading to the abandoned factory. They had heard that all the monsters in there have high levels and are extremely dangerous. They wondered if he intended to fight those monsters all alone. They couldn't help but think that the big shot is way different from regular people like them. There was a large rat with its mouth wide open. The screen showed that he had killed a level mutated giant rat. It granted him 2 EXP and a TH ability points. Then he killed a level 3 poisonous spider, which granted him 8 EXP and 3 TH000 ability points. He then killed another poisonous spider consecutively. Zero had leveled up, which also increased his vitality to third please 12 mana and free 6 attribute points. He is currently at level 2 and 250 EXP points are required for the next level up. He targeted another spider. His attack created an explosion. Now, he only needs 100 EXP to level up. The scene was left with several monster corpses. He was congratulated for unlocking the first skill slot and obtained the starting skill Tiny Fireball. He never thought that the level up reward W for mythic rank hunters would be 6 times higher than ordinary hunters. Even by just leveling up by 3 levels, he already got as much as 18 free attribute points. The early game growth path of a monster tamer is the same as a mage, so he still needs to minimize his casting time, stabilize his damage output, and increase agility. As for the starting skill, normal hunters with limited ability points usually won't waste their points on upgrading it since it doesn't have power. Zero smiled because, again, ability points solve it all. He decided to max out the system, confirmed his action, and later on he had already spent 50 ability points to upgrade eventually his Tiny Fireball has transformed and become a medium fireball. Its damage has increased to 140% and has gained a special effect of increasing the damage of burn every second by 6%. Zero liked it. Later on he upgraded it to become an Ultra Fireball, a grade. It is the highest skill grade possible. For his current class rank, he can upgrade once he has undergone his second class change with that rate of progress. Regardless of the outcome, he should be able to hit level 8 once he finishes the first 2 world missions. It will be enough once he challenges the final boss and completes the first clear of the first world. A groaning noise caught Zero's attention. He stood in front of a large door. When he asked if someone's there, he opened the door. There he found a hunter whose leg was amputated. This person's name is Carl. He looked at the guy and pondered that aside from the hunter deaths being real, there is no difference between that world and a normal game. There are missions, dungeons, and the NPC in front of him. Carl informed Zero that his wife and children have all been killed by monsters. He sought the help of the adventurer in front of him to kill the loathsome scorpion. The system informed Zero that a storyline has been triggered. He was asked if he will take on the quest exterminate the scorpion. Zero looked at the equipment obtained from completing the NPC missions, and it's much better than those dropped from killing monsters. Since he only has a magic staff, the mission was worth doing. The mission details are displayed. He needs to exterminate the scorpions. It's a normal mission with a level 10 difficulty. Aside from getting rid of all the scorpions, he was also requested to eliminate the leader, the armored scorpion king. His reward would be plow 500 EXP, playing 1 silver coin, plus 300 random 1-star equipment. Zero sensed that something had moved, but he didn't see anything. He figured out that there aren't just monsters in there, but his priority for now is to complete the mission. There were several eyes watching him from the dark. It's been a while since he saw those scorpions. Armored scorpions creeped out. These are physical type normal monsters which are at level 5. Basically, these monsters are scorpions that have mutated due to the environmental contamination. The entire body is covered with solid armor, which helps them resist a large amount of damage. When the scorpions have activated the skill guard, the effectiveness of Zero's attacks will decrease. It charged towards Zero, but he was ready for it. Zero's staff glowed. He hit it with his Ultra Fireball. The armored scorpion activated the skill charge. Zero was able to dodge it, and he prepared to release his magic again. It was so powerful that it engulfed the area in flames. With that, the system notified him that he had defeated a level 5 armored scorpion. He gained plus 115 EXP and 50,000 ability points. While the Ultra Fireball is extremely powerful, it drains the man very quickly. From what Zero could recall, when the number of armored scorpion drops below a certain threshold, the appearance of the armored scorpion king will be triggered much earlier. The monster had finally appeared. It was gigantic and menacing. Zero planned to kill it before all his mana was depleted. He released Ultra Fireball. The armored scorpion king swats it with its tail. It had very little to no effect. It was as strong and tough as Zero remembered it to be. Then it charges towards Zero. Zero was quick on his feet to move aside, and an attack from another angle. He blasted his fireball, and it burned the monster. He had defeated it. He commented that he was lucky because even though he used up his mana, he managed to stop it from moving. He just needs to finish it off to complete the mission. But then someone appeared behind him. This man had his sword ready, and another man appeared and stabbed the claw of the scorpion. They planned to steal the final blow. Zero grabbed the man from approaching the scorpion. Zero knew they were there, and finally they had shown themselves. They were surprised that Zero already knew their plan. Zero knew that even though there are some hunters that level up through honest, means there are also some that specialize in carrying Out shady business of killing and stealing from others. It's a shame that they chose the wrong target since all the enemies that Zero had are 1,000 times stronger than this man Zero. Released his power, and an image of a man appeared behind him. The bad hunter got scared. Zero didn't hesitate to blast him away with his fire. The ally of the bad hunter was stunned. He was under the impression that Zero had run out of mana. He asked how Zero could still use his skill. The man realized that Zero isn't a newbie. Zero replied that he just pretended had he not did that they wouldn't show themselves. A purple fire appeared above the golden flames. The system congratulated Zero for activating the next Necromancer class skill called Soul Harvesting while killing the armored Scorpion King. He was asked if he would like to absorb the armored Scorpion King. As his pet, he commented that he's lucky to trigger the class so quickly. He absorbed its. Specks of gold flame fell to the ground, then it turned to a dark violet flame underneath his feet. This flame approaches the enemy. The system informed Zero that he had obtained the armored Scorpion King as his pet, and this pet is intimidating the enemy. The Necromancer class effects have been activated. The loyalty of Zero's pet, the armored Scorpion King, had been maxed out. Zero knew that the reason why it is hard for a monster tamer to grow is because pets need to rely on the monster tamers. EXP to level up in just the early game. Double EXP are needed to level up as the number of pets grows. The points needed to level them up increase exponentially as well. It's simply impossible for a normal person to afford it. However, EXP points are currently something that Zero had the most, so he went to use it and upgrade to max level. The armored Scorpion King's D rank skill guard has risen to a rank iron. Body rank is a passive skill that decreases the damage received by the armored scorpion by 30%. The man asked who exactly Zero is because it's impossible for a normal monster tamer to be as strong as him. Zero revealed that from the moment he took on the mission, he already sensed that someone was secretly spying on him. He guessed that those guys are assassins who utilize invisibility to hide themselves and attack lone players, and then they happen to receive the mission at the same time. So they planned to ambush him at the last stage and reap the Scorpion King. The man realized that they had offended the wrong person. He knew he needed to run, otherwise Zero challenged him to show how strong he is. And in a flash, the armored Scorpion King hit the guy in the gut. The guy begged not to be killed. Zero replied that in a world where the wheel is fodder for the strong, if one wishes to consume others, one should be prepared to be eaten. The guy lost life in his eyes when he started to be eaten. After that, the NPC thanked Zero for helping him on his revenge with that he considered Zero his buddy. The system screen congratulated Zero for completing the mission. He had obtained 500 EXP points plus 1 silver coins and 3 million ability points. There's also an equipment called Magic Necklace and Armor Boots. Zero also leveled up to level 4. Only 2,000 EXP points are required for the next level up. He decided to take a look at the equipment. The Magic Necklace is at level 4 with 1 star. It is a necklace that was rumored in legends to have been made out of magic itself. It's said that if a person wears it, they would be able to obtain an immense amount of magic. The armor boots are at level 5 with 1 star, and it's a solid boot that provides hunters with a certain amount of defense. Zero commented that he's catered according to his needs. He got equipment that boosts his mana after desperately needing something to strengthen it. He went on to refine the item to the max. He used a total of $249.99 points and received the golden attribute equipment, the sacred origin of magic. Then he spent 2,985 ability points and received hero protection armor. With these 2 pieces of equipment, the armored Scorpion King and him will reach level 5 faster. A screen appeared in front of him. The screen displayed a zone announcement. All hunters in the Doomsday Village were told that the hidden dungeon, the Apocalyptic City level 5, has appeared near the Doomsday Village. The dungeon will remain open for an hour. All hunters were advised to head towards the dungeon to carry out the mission. The first to clear the dungeon will receive a generous reward. The people were surprised to hear about the level 5 hidden dungeon. Zero knew that being the first to clear it isn't impossible. Given his current strength, he decided to go for it. The portal had already appeared, so everyone was preparing for it by recruiting a party member. Most of them are aiming to clear it first because of the rewards. A man explained that given their current level, entering the dungeon would be equivalent to suicide. They may earn money, but they might not be alive to spend it. The guy reiterated that it was the sole reason that they should form a team. Zero noticed that there are quite a number of people who want to Challenge the dungeon. Someone shoved him to get out of the way. It was a knight in shining gold armor, someone called this person president. People were curious about who this person was. He is Liu Yao, the son of the wealthiest person in Linhai City. Liu Yu, the three biggest pharmacies in Linhai City are all owned by the Liu family. They have a net worth of over billions of dollars. The young Master Liu has always acted pompous. Even his underlings are fully equipped with one-star equipment that costs at least tens of thousands. A woman, Nautic Young Yu, its use ex-girlfriend, her name is Lyu. She approached him and mocked him for being a normal monster tamer who can't even afford his own rent and is thinking of fighting in the dungeon. Hero was fierce when he asked her she had a problem with that. She was shocked. She expected him to beg her for another chance since he's AS. Then she clings onto Yao and tells Yue that only Yao is qualified to be the first to clear the unique dungeon, so he should just stop daydreaming. Yao hugged Yue and mocked Yue for being dumped and advised him to just move on. Yue nonchalantly replied that she was just an old pair of used shoes and Yao could take her if he wanted to. And as for the unique dungeon, he felt that the one who's having such wishful thinking is someone else. That made Yue furious. She wants Yao to teach him a lesson, and instead of being scared, our boy smiled and advised them to treasure their lives more. Yue shouted that he's just acting tough when he's a good-for-nothing. Yao finds it weird that he can't see the man's class clearly, as if it was purposely hidden. Yao waved goodbye since he's in a rush to challenge the dungeon. Yao and his team went to the portal and reminded them to bring their resurrection scrolls. Everyone was pumped up. One man tapped Zero's shoulder and told him to admit defeat, since poor losers like them can't beat those with silver spoons. Zero replied that if the guy sees himself as a poor loser, he should think of ways to become better and stronger. In his head, Zero thought of the original owner of the body and knew that he was indeed a poor loser, but he argued that it had nothing to do with him, since he's a Sura. The guy replied that Zero is good at bluffing. The man argued that all those men had a resurrection scroll that cost $3,000 per piece. People expected that the Supreme Guild would be the one to clear the dungeon first. Zero knew that most dungeons have a boss monster guarding it. His current strength is more than sufficient to deal with the normal mobs, but he's afraid it isn't enough to deal with the boss monster. He can only guarantee a win if the armored scorpion and him both level up to level 5 and are fitted with both proper equipment and max level skills. He looked around. Meanwhile, Yao and the others appeared on the other side of the portal. Yue complained that she was just completely humiliated, but he didn't seek revenge for her. Yao glared at her and told her that there's a lot of people the losses outweigh the gains if they consider the off chance that someone uses the excuse of Yao killing a hunter as grounds to defame the Liu family and the guild purposely. He assured her that he will make that guy kneel in front of her. Yue thanked him for that. In another setting, a fire was blasted. Zero was fighting the monsters. A normal monster tamer's pet needs the same amount of experience points as its master. Luckily, the amount of experience points needed by the pet in the necromancer class is reduced to half. In the early game, Zero had to let the armored scorpion kill a few normal mobs, and it would be able to level up quickly. Zero continued to fight. The area was filled with smoke. Behind the rock is the lackey of Yao, who watched Zero. They realized that they misjudged him. As Zero steps forward, he was blocked by a pretty woman who seduced him to carry them, but he's not AS, and just replied no way and moved forward. The system informed everyone that there's only 10 minutes left. Zero decided to raise the defense of the equipped level 5 armored scorpion. It will act as a meat shield at the vanguard while Zero focuses on doing damage from the back. The armored scorpion king roared loudly. Zero also used equipment that speeds up mana recovery to help him cast fireballs consecutively and increases efficiency in killing monsters with all. That 10 minutes was more than enough. He entered the portal. The area was engulfed in flames. Yao and the others were hurt. Yao complained that just a bit more and they would have defeated the boss, but his ordinate explained that they stand no chance against level 7 monsters when they are only at level 2. Yue told Yao that since the monsters are too powerful, they should just focus on surviving. The subordinate agreed with her and expressed that they should take the chance to use the resurrection scroll to leave while the monsters haven't caught up. Yao sensed someone was coming. They all looked on the cliff where a man stood and were surprised to see that it was Zero. Yao was furious to see him in that dungeon. He asked Zero if he's not afraid of dying. Zero smirked at him. It triggered Yao to challenge Zero in a battle. Yue and the subordinate tried to stop him, emphasizing that their survival comes first. Before Yao leaves, he tells Zero that it would be better if he dies in the dungeon rather than Yao killing him. They system welcomed Zero inside the dungeon, where his mission is to kill the dungeon's guardian, the armored scorpion Lever, which is a boss monster at level 7. Zero was relieved that they're gone, since he won't be bothered with the noise. Now, a few moments later, the ground cracked, and the boss monster emerged from underneath. It roared loudly. Zero noticed that its health bar alone is several times stronger than the minions. He instructed his pet to attack the two scorpions fought each other. Zero was happy with the upgrades of his pet then. He used his Ultra Fireball, which caused 206 critical damage. The large boss monster stood before him and attacked him, but his pet protected him. Zero created several fireballs and released a sextuple shot. The boss monster's face was slightly burned. Zero attacked from the front, while his pet held the boss monster's body. The enemy roared. It was the last roar before his body collapsed on the ground. Zero commented how freaking weak. The system screen displayed that he had cleared the level 5 dungeon Apocalyptic City, and he obtained the dungeon scroll. As a reward, the people were surprised with this announcement. They wondered if Zero is some kind of big shot to be that powerful. They all wondered how he killed the guardian monster when almost everyone is at level 1 to level 3, and the dungeon guardian monster is at level 7. Yao asked if the person was Yu's ex-boyfriend, since the announcement was released just a few minutes right after the guy entered. Yu found it ridiculous. She argued that her ex-boyfriend doesn't even have a pet, so there's no way that he would clear that dungeon all alone. Yao was convinced that someone else must have done it. He struck the ground with his sword while saying that the one who had killed the scorpion leader is extraordinary. He told his subordinates to find the person with the ID 0 immediately and scout him. The item drop rate from boss monsters is indeed much higher compared to normal monsters. There were items like the copper coins, blueprints, and even equipment, but the most important item is the scroll. Unupgraded dungeon scroll is worth far more than a few thousand. Zero decided to upgrade his scroll straight to the max level. A challenger ranked dungeon scroll has never appeared in the first world. If it goes into the market, at the very least it should go for several hundreds of thousands. To a normal hunter, it is undoubtedly a huge sum of money, but Zero's goal was to clear the Otheru world. A notification window displayed that Zero had used a level 5 challenger grade dungeon scroll. He received 1 gold coin and a bounty mission, which is to rescue the survivor. Upon completion of this mission, within the time limit, he will be receiving a generous reward. Zero examined the mission and found out that it has a difficulty rating of 100 and an unknown reward that only requires him to escort an NPC. He also received a level 10 map, but unfortunately Zero is only at level 5. And in addition to that, the monsters that he'll be facing, wild boars, like to appear in groups, so it would be difficult to deal with them. He decided not to stress about it and focus on finding the survivor. In the middle of the forest, a girl was being chased by a wild boar. All of a sudden, the wild boar erupted in flames. Slowly, the smoke clears, and it revealed Zero. The little girl was glad that a big brother came to save her. The notification window displayed that the survivor Ian has been found. The time remaining for his mission is 10 hours. An angry wild boar appeared. Zero had noticed that the wild boars in the forest got agitated the moment he found Ian. The wild boar attacked them. Zero released a fireball. The wild boar kept receiving burn D damage, but then several wild boars surrounded them. Zero commented that these wild boars had a lot of stamina. A mythic rank hunter with a gold attribute staff and an A rank fireball was still unable to deal proper damage to them. If Ian gets killed in there, Zero will fail the mission. Zero took out the armored scorpion and instructed it to protect him. The wild boars charged altogether, but the armored scorpion blocked its attack. Zero released an ultra fireball. It landed on the wild boar. The system notified him that he was able to defeat a level 10 frenzied wild boar, which earned him plus 40 EXP and plus 100,000 ability points. Zero informs the armored scorpion that their strategy is working. He encouraged the armored scorpion to fend off a few more, and they would level up. Soon our MC consecutively defeated those wild boars. The wild boars keep coming, and Zero didn't have enough mana to fend off the attack of the wild boar wave. Ian asked if he's okay. Zero assured her that he will definitely bring her back. Unexpectedly, a wild boar had run into Zero. In response, Zero hit it with the ultra fireball, and it roasted the wild boar, but even then it still managed to resist the fiery skill. Fortunately, Zero had a bit of health, otherwise he would have been dead after a single hit from the wild boar. He also noticed that the armored scorpion can't hold on for much longer either. Zero didn't expect this mission to be so bothersome. He attacked a wild boar, causing its HP to drop at the same time. Zero was notified that he had leveled up to level 7. Because of the situation, he decided to upgrade his attack power first. In addition, he used the equipment obtained from farming the scorpions earlier. The item is called Glorious Boss Battle Ring. Level S, it has a penetrate effect, which means that the attacks off someone with the item equipped ignore 20 of the opponent's defense. Again, Zero used a fireball, but this time it's a more powerful one. It even looked like an energy ball, and it enveloped the fireball and was killed instantly. Zero was amazed. Earlier he had to cast 80 fireballs to deal any damage, but now he could kill it with just 2 fireballs. Zero consecutively attacked. After some time he looked haggard, but he managed to finally shake off the wave of wild boar. Now he just needs to bring Ein safely to the Doomsday Village, and the mission will be completed. Someone then appeared and was surprised to see that Zero had returned from the dungeon alive. It was this loser Liu Yao, and with him was Ewer. Zero shooed them away since he doesn't want to deal with small fries. Ewer sang praises for Yao and requested for him to teach Zero a lesson. Yao unsheathes his sword. Zero challenged Yao if he could really kill him, why then dashed forward as he wanted to see whether Zero's mouth was sharper than his sword. Yao's blade hit Zero's shoulder, but it did not penetrate it. Yao couldn't believe it. Year 2, since Yao couldn't deal any damage to Zero despite Zero being just an unarmed beast tamer. Zero asked if he's done, and it's his turn now. Zero showed off his power by releasing a swirl of large flame, and upon seeing that, Yao panicked and threatened Zero that he's from a powerful family, and if he laid a hand on him, he would regret it. But our boy gave Zero __ with all that blabbering, he released his fireball, and Yao was blasted away. Yao complained how he ended up in that state with just a single shot. He turned to dust, leaving his golden armor behind. Zero watched the screen as he called Yao an idiot. In the other world, a hunter's name is usually white. However, when a hunter launches a malicious surprise attack on another hunter with a white name, the assault's name will turn gray for a short period of time. During this period, the victim's retaliation will be considered an act of defense, and they will not receive any evil value. If the victim fails at retaliating and is killed, the assailant name will turn red, and they will receive evil value under the rules of the other world. The assailant will not be able to log out of the other world, even if they enter a safe zone, unless they kill a sufficient number of monsters to clear their evil value, or they wait for their death. Not only will a hunter's levels and experience points decrease when they die, a large number of their equipment and items will also be dropped. Ewer was taken aback that Zero killed Yao in one shot. She wondered when he became so powerful. She panicked when she saw Zero approaching her, especially when she couldn't use the resurrection scroll, since it can only be used twice in a span of days. She already used one to escape the dungeon earlier. If she uses another one now, she wouldn't be able to use it again later out of fear. She coaxed him with endearment and sweet words, but Zero and Ian nonchalantly walked past her. Since he didn't attack Zero, he would be affected if he attacks her. He decided not to waste his time because of insignificant people. Ewer watched them walk away. This __ then felt angry that Zero dared to ignore her. A few moments later at a certain home, Ian thanked Zero since she was able to come back home. The system window congratulated Zero for completing the Challenger rank bounty mission called Rescue the Survivor. He received Ice Magic Staff, a skill book called Tiny Icicle, and a pet egg. He had also leveled up in terms of his vitality, plus 30 mana, plus 12, and free attribute points, plus 6. Zero is currently at level 8 and will need 9,500 EXP to level up again. RMC then summoned the staff. It is a level 8 Ice Magic Staff. It is a magic staff with an extremely strong affinity for the power of ice, and since he had almost infinite ability points, Zero decided to refine the staff, and he had done it 144 times the maximum allowable amount. He had used a total of 22,356 ability points, turned the equipment to a golden attribute equipment, the Frost Shatter Scepter. The higher the grade of the equipment, the more ability points needed for its refinement. Fortunately, that amount isn't an issue for Zero. Aside from the staff, he also got other loot. He took out the pet egg that he had obtained. It was a normal grade, so he wasn't really excited about it. Also, he got quite a few normal grade pet eggs while farming monsters just now. He decided to use all of them as fodder for the armored scorpion liked that idea. It was followed by several notifications that his pet, the armored scorpion, consumed the pet. Eggs later on, he was congratulated by the system, since his pet has evolved into a silver armored scorpion elite. Grade. The evolved version looked cool with its silver body. Zero was quite pleased with the 2-star magic staff and a silver armored scorpion together with the golden equipment contributed by Yao earlier. Zero should be able to challenge the final boss of the first world, however, before that he needed to go back and replenish his supply of some materials. He walked out of the portal. It was already dark outside. He was back in his room, then his phone rang. Yue picked it up. It was a call about the $390,000 that he owed for his brother's medical bill. If he won't pay, the hospital will halt his brother's treatment. Our boy then asked for the payment card number for the hospital, as he stated that he will transfer within 10 minutes. It was not a big deal, since he could just sell a few pieces of the golden equipment and he'll be able to earn a few million. He planned to help the original owner of the body to save his brother as a way to repay the original UA, but then he received a warning that the equipment is bound and it cannot be traded or dropped. He was dumbfounded. He commented that it was a downside of having a 10,000-fold increase buff without the ability to trade his equipment. He only has slightly over $110,000. Even if he sells all of his silver coins, it pushed him to think of ways to earn money. He looked at his cell phone. He searched and found out that the hourly pay for normal boosting services is too low, but then he saw something interesting. There was one post hiring a booster for 300,000 gold. A lot of people engage in the post. Yue contacted the person with a creepy smile on his face. He was intrigued with the deadly bounty. A girl was in front of her PC with several monitors. Yue asked about the specific demands regarding the $300,000 bounty for the boosting mission posted on the forum. The girl replied that he must assist a new hunter from the current batch. Second, he must help the designated person clear the first world. Y replied that he's okay with that, but he tried to negotiate for the pay to be $390,000. The girl replied that she would even give him $400,000 once the task is completed. He asked when they would start. The girl informs him that the person he's going to escort will meet him at the respawn point in the Doomsday Village in 10 minutes. Yue waited at the Doomsday Village. He was delighted to earn $400,000 just by carrying a person through the first world that he was already going to clear anyway. He saw it as a decent deal with guaranteed profit and no risks. Then he noticed someone, a woman, fully covered in cloth, even her eyes and hair. He asked if she's the one who hired a booster. The woman nodded. The people who saw them gossiped. They knew the woman as the calamitous mage. They couldn't imagine that the weakling beast tamer took up the offer. They commented that people nowadays really value money over their lives. Yue watched her. He suggested forming a party, and he assured her that he will help her complete the world's missions. She joined the team, but her ID was hidden. Yue briefed her that to clear the first world, she must complete 2 missions as a prerequisite, one of which is to kill 1,000 monsters, then earn 10 coins. He asked if she knew about it, and she replied yes. Yue explained that in the other world, hunters cannot deal damage to monsters that are 5 or more levels above them, even if Yue attacks a monster until it is left with 1 health point. It's useless if they can't kill it. He told her that he'll help her level up. While completing the missions, they faced a scorpion monster and attacked it with ultra fireball. While the damage of the spell obtained as part of the mission rewards previously isn't as high as the fireball, it's not bad when used supportively as a crowd control skill. Then he froze the scorpion. He asked the woman why she was just standing and told her to finish it off. The woman seemed nervous, but she managed to make purple flames appear on her palms. It made contact with the frozen monster, and then the contact turned into an explosion. She was advised by the system that she leveled up, and it happened. Thrice unbeknownst to her, a scorpion monster is on its way to attack her from behind. Yue screamed for her to look out. Yue made it in time. He was able to grab her and evade the attack. Then he used ultra fireball. His attack caused a huge explosion. He looked serious while the woman he's holding looked at him in awe. But he didn't notice it. Instead, he just told her to get up so they can move to the next leveling spot. He inquired on how old she was to be able to afford paying $400,000. She made a hand sign that shows 21. Yue commented that everyone awakens at 18, so it should have been 3 years since she entered the other world. He asked her for the reason why her level is still low. She stopped walking, which made Yue ask what's wrong. She slowly removed her hood. It revealed her purple hair and eyes. Then she thanked Yue for helping her level up and advised him to leave. She promised him $110,000 to keep Him from saying anything to her sister Yue expressed that he thought she was mute. He assured her that he'll help her clear the first world, since it was his promise to her sister. She looked horrified and reminded him of what those people said about her, that she's an embodiment of a calamity or a jinx. She was worried that she'd cause him trouble if they stayed together. Yue was curious to know what embodiment of calamity meant. She was about to explain it, but someone spoke that the calamitous mage is out to harm others again. Several men appeared. One of them said that people on the forum have claimed that as long as one takes on the calamitous mag's mission, that person dies in untimely death. On the contrary, it is said whoever manages to kill her will obtain a large number of experience and ability points. The men decided to attack her in the name of justice. The woman panicked because those men were 5 to 6 levels higher than them. They had no match for them. She told him that since they are only after her, Yue should leave. Yue was pissed off that they wanted to touch his 400,000 without his consent. Someone showed up and noticed a team fight. That person finds it exciting. Several armored people walked in. The men earlier gossiped among themselves. They recognized that the person in front is the young Master Liu Yao of the Liu family, the wealthiest family in Linhai City. They know that they are no match for them if they have arrived to steal their kills. A man from the earlier group approached Li and politely informed him that they didn't mean to offend him. Liu told him to be silent. Yao grabbed Yu's collar and commented that it seemed like they're fated to run into each other. Yue teased him by asking if he's there to give him equipment again. He emphasized that Liu couldn't use any more resurrection scrolls for the next 7 days. Yao raised his hand. Then he commanded everyone to kill Yue. The profile of the woman showed up. Her name is Su Yin, and she's at level 1 aside. From that, everything else about her is unknown. Yue looked serious. Yao was confused why he reacted that way. Then he noticed his people just standing behind him. He bonked them on the head while asking if they did not understand his instructions. His subordinate just replied that he's used to it. They surrounded Yue, and Yue watched their every move. Suddenly, they all brought out gifts while requesting Yue to reconsider. Yin was so confused. Yue was surprised too. She asked Yao what was his intention in doing that. He told her to shut up. Then he approached Yue, but maintained a safe distance by hiding behind one of his men. He told Yue that he understood that Yue isn't afraid of using brute force like he is, but he doesn't want to resort to that. So, because of that, Yao specially arranged for his men to painstakingly choose the super rare trade treasures for Yue. Yue could have it all on the condition that Yue will be joining his guild and work for him. In addition to that, he would also pay Yue $50,000 a month. Yue commented that for a poor peasant like Yue, the offer of Yao is something that he wouldn't be able to achieve even after 10 years of hard work. She suggested for him to join Yao's guild and use head. She expected Yao to be elated that she's helping him persuade Yue to join the guild, and once Yue joined the guild, Yue plans to teach you a lesson. Yue replied that he only admires those who are stronger than him. He suggested that Yao should use force so that way he could consider his offer. Were got triggered and emphasized that 50,000 is more than Yue can earn in a year, so he doesn't have the right to reject Yao's offer. Yue expressed that birds of the same feather really do flock together. He asked Yue if she really thought that everyone would choose to give up being a human to become a dog like her. Yue asked if they were still going to fight, otherwise they should just get out of his way. Where asked if they were still going to fight, Yao commanded to let Yue go. Yue couldn't accept his decision and asked him why when Yue was looking down at him. Yao is now angry when he repeated to say that they should just let Yue go. Yue decided to back down. They watched Yue and Yin walk away. One of Yao's subordinates expressed that their boss is generous for letting Yue walk away when Yue tried to kill Yao. Before, the subordinate insisted that Yao should have just killed the guy that blabbermouth met Yao's fist. Then Yao expressed that the best things are out of reach, that things that are too easily obtainable are never valuable. Yue clung to him and asked him when he said that he wanted to kill Yue at all costs back. Then she asked him when he changed his mind. He replied that it happened after Yue killed him last time. Grabbed Yu's jaw, and it looked like he's holding his anger back while bringing up what Yue said before, that Yu's poor family couldn't afford gold equipment, but it's a puzzle on how a normal monster tame still does so much damage. Yao knew that there's more than that meet the eye. That is why he wants Yue to work for him. Yue grits her teeth deep inside her. She insisted that Yue is just a poor peasant, and she'll make him grovel at her feet one day. It was late into the night. Yin thanked Yue for protecting her. Yue replied that it was nothing otherwise. He'll lose his 400,000 if she died. and that's not a great thing to end the day. Yin approached him. She suggested calling it quits since she thinks Yue won't be able to complete the mission you asked her. Why she posted the bounty in the forum when she doesn't have confidence, he added that she could just stand her up. But why did she enter the other world? Yin replied that she gave up a long time ago, and it was her sister's doing. She emphasized that she's the embodiment of calamity, and she showed him something. As a proof, the system window displayed that her special class is Calamitous Mage. With her calamitous body, she cannot kill monsters by herself. Instead, she must form a team with others and share the burden of the calamity with her teammate. In that situation, the lives of her and her teammate are connected. Should either of them die, both of them will die, and the level will immediately return to zero. If they disband midway, the level will return to zero, but the teammate will now receive any penalties. When a calamitous mage clears the first world with a calamitous body, the player and their teammate who have destroyed the calamitous body will receive a large amount of experience. Deep inside, Yue was surprised that she's a special class hunter. He just found out that aside from the core class hunters and subclass hunters, there are also special class hunters. As long as they overcome the limitations of their class, there is an extremely high chance of a highly ranked class emerging. It may be legendary or even mythic. It's also a shame for normal people to overcome this limitation. They can only be reduced to ordinary people who fade out the public's attention. Yin shared that she had already tried over 100 times ever since she had awakened this special class 3 years ago, yet she never succeeded. In addition, there is the rule in the other world preventing one from teaming up with someone who is over 10 levels higher than them. She wondered how it is possible for two people who are at best level 10 to defeat the first world's boss. She advised him to leave. Yue asked her, what if he says that it's possible? He told her that he can help her clear the first world. Yin was surprised and hopeful. She grabbed him and asked if he's serious. Inside her head, she admitted that for 3 years she had always dreamed of shattering that damn class limitation and becoming a hunter revered by masses. She wondered if it's possible. Yue told her to stop rambling and invited her to clear the world's first mission. Thank you all for watching. Please watch this next GigaChat video, and I'll see you guys next time. Also, support the channel by joining the Summon Club membership. You can also support by just liking the video and being awesome.